Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Hawkins. I'm Conan Hawk on Twitch, at Conan Hawk on Twitter. Currently going to be testing against Mrtoolshed, who is at Mrtoolshed on Twitter. They are playing a blue-white, like the PV style deck. I'll be playing a Temur Reclamation deck to help one of my teammates test for DreamHack, which will be this weekend. Probably happening exactly when I go to post this video. We're going to be playing 3 games, all post-board. We kind of already know how the pre-board matchups go, so we want to make sure that we get as many post-board games. It's makes for very good testing. This is the pre-boarded games here, or how it looks pre-boarded, and then so just for a you can kind of see what's happening. We boarded out a couple of Uros, 1 Brazen Borrower, all the Storm's Wraths, and a Rec for the creature plan. So we're going to go ahead and play some games real quick here. Won the die roll, just like it should be. Just like I lost game 1.
Right.
Definitely mulliganing this. Obviously, just need more lands. This hand is good for a 6. Debating if I want to put back a land or if I want to put back Expansion Explosion. I think putting back Expansion Explosion makes the most sense. Just thinking that through, though. Let's see, so if we were to put back a land, we would want to put back the Forest. I could actually see putting back a land. There's a chance that we need to Expansion plus Mystical Dispute at some point. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and put back the Forest. Tonight at 6 is the deadline for putting in the DreamHack deck lists. So once again, we are playing against Mrtoolshed, which is one of my teammates, Sean Gallagher. He is playing blue-white. We're playing post-boarded games of Temur Reclamation versus blue-white. You might be wondering why we're playing post-board games. The main reason that we're playing post-board games is because you actually play a lot more post-board games than you play pre-boarded games. And the matchup is tough from the side of Reclamation. So just not necessarily assuming that you're down a game, but just playing more post-board games is going to be more helpful for Reclamation. It's also going to be more helpful for blue-white because the pre-board games should be a lot easier. So just doing this is pretty smart. I do want this card, but I think I'd rather I need to find a threat. The window for finding a threat is pretty small, so I think I'm going to bottom this, even though this card is pretty stellar in the matchup. All right, there's the War Boss. So that is pretty awesome. Gonna go ahead and just play Stomping Ground here, and I'm gonna go ahead and pass after that. I can definitely see why some people ended up playing Robber the Rich in this matchup over Legion War Boss, because I think I'm supposed to run out this War Boss next turn. But I almost want to hold it for a turn, but Mystical Dispute also doesn't counter something like Banishing Light, so I think the pressure is to play it next turn, and then that way if he has just a Teferi, he bounces my Legion War Boss, but I still get to kill the Teferi. But if he has something like Banishing Light, we'd lose our War Boss, and we don't really have a great follow-up. The pressure is for him is that we might just untap with Wilderness Reclamation, but I don't know. I think we're supposed to still play this War Boss. Must be a challenging scry there.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just contemplating if you have a Legion War Boss right now, of course. So the card I kept on top was Mystical Dispute. So I was well, I don't want to keep this if you have Legion War Boss. So I was I really don't want this, but oh well.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
I was kind of saying the same thing. It's if I jam this War Boss and you have O-Ring, that's kind of rough for me. But if you don't, then it's pretty great, right?
Yeah. Lucky for me, had I pushed that Mystical Dispute, I probably would have died to this War Boss anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, my hand is reasonable still. I can still win this game, but it's going to be a lot harder now because I just don't even have an Aether Gust either. This Legion War Boss is probably going to hit at least one more time.
All right, so I think I want to play Fabled Passage here. Not necessarily for deck thinning. I just want to actually fetch when he can't Aether Gust to like hide my war boss. So like one of the tricks you can do.
You should cast Uro right now.
Ooh, the pre-combat Uro, that'd be pretty slick.
Yeah.
Is that you can?
That'd be really nice of you. You can mentor, right? Yeah, nice. Split them up. Nice.
So like, one of the tricks you can do with Aether Gust is like, if Sean had Aether Gust and I would go to fetch, he could Aether Gust my war boss, try to put it on top, and then I would shuffle it away. I could Mystical Dispute or Expansion Explosion type of thing, but I think that's just something that I can't really afford. So. So let's see. If I do this, I get to draw 2. I don't think drawing 2 is great, but given kind of what our hand is, I don't think I want to do that. All right, so I'm just gonna pass here. Breeblick says, I love that trick. Yeah, the Aether Gust trick is very good, which is like why I wanted to fetch there. All right, Arcana Sun's Grace is going to go ahead and resolve. It's going to be a little awkward. We're going to have to like run something into that. But
one Arcana Sun's Grace against the world.
The world is all war boss.
Just don't have second war boss.
Second war boss would be pretty nice.
I'm dead to like 18 different things right now, so just don't have any of those.
Okay, I'll try not to. All right. So if I attack with all, he blocks war boss. That gets him to essentially 13. He'll be taking 6, 7, 13, 6, 6. I can do 1, or I can do 6 times 2 is 12. Minus 4 is 8. So I couldn't play around Mystical Dispute. So let's see. Can't play around Mystical Dispute. So the question is, or yeah, actually I can. I can play around Mystical Dispute holding open 2 mana and then using expansion to copy the Mystical Dispute. So let me just double check my math really quick here. He blocks War Boss. He takes 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 from 13 is 6. 12 times, or 6 times 2 is 12. Minus 4 is 8. So yeah, all right, should be good. Was double checking some math, but
sure, yeah, no worries. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm pretty sure I have to block this 1 drop, the 1 power guy. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8. Puts me to 2. Then I go to 5. So I end up at 5 here. This way. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? You got it, don't you? The last 2 cards in your hand are not Expansion Explosion, Mystical Dispute.
The last 2 cards in my hand are Expansion Explosion, Expansion Explosion.
Sure.
So if you block the War Boss, I have to. This way I can play around around Mystical Dispute. But if you block the War Boss, I would still have it because of the expansion.
Sure. Oh, you just went for me. I thought for some reason I thought it was pointing at my Archon of Sun's Grace.
Oh yeah, that's like while I was doing the math. I was like, I know I can kill the Archon, but like, can I kill Sean? So like that was like the reason for the pause.
Right. Sure.
Tip for future: you should have chat on screen for your YouTube videos. Yeah, that makes sense. Or at least a fridge with sloth drawings. YouTube loves that type of stuff. All right, so since we are already post-board, just go ahead and resubmit. For those that are on YouTube, obviously you can't see my chat, so I believe that Caroline is probably correct on that. I do a pretty good job of like reading what the chat says before I respond to it, but that way you could just read it yourself, which would probably be a lot smarter. Well, everyone on YouTube, Caroline, aka the Mighty Linguini, One of my teammates says hi. You two would love cat cam too. Yeah, I would agree that you two would love cat cam. All right, so my opponent goes first here. So I think I'm going to keep this hand. It is a little awkward. We're going to have to use Fabled Passage into Temple, but I think that's going to be all right. We get a couple of draws to draw a land. We could also do Temple and a Fabled Passage, but depending on exactly what we draw, I might want to go the other way around. Because I might want to cast Opt after this. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this and fetch for a blue. That way I can go Opt next turn if my Temple doesn't produce a land for me. Man, being on the draw kind of sucks.
I would say it's definitely suboptimal, right?
Yeah, like I'm like, I could get like this sweet thread, and oh no, I can't, because now you get to like have all this mana.
Right.
Nice. All right, we definitely wanted that land on top. Hey, Luna. You want to say hi to all the people on YouTube? She doesn't really care. She just wants pets. She likes being on the ground. She doesn't like being in the air. Otherwise, she can get attacked by Winnie if she's not paying attention. She's my other cat. I have two cats. One's named Luna and the other one's named Winnie. And they're awesome. Well, that's just rude. Hey, no fair.
Call.
Nice. Take that, Teferi. Alright, so now we want an untapped land. The pressure is once again on Sean to answer our war boss. If we draw an untapped land, it's going to be awesome. Ugh. Unfortunately, did not draw an untapped land. Here I think I like Growth Spiral on my turn. It does mean that he might be able to resolve something like the 3/4. I'm actually just going to pass. I'm going to play this and pass. I think I want actually more mana. Like, this card is, like, very good, but I don't think it's, like, super great here. It is a counter magic spell, I guess. But I just want lands, I think. I think my hand is such that if I can deploy all my spells, I should be able to win. And the only way that I can do that is through lands. I was really hoping for an untapped land that turn. That'd have been super nice.
Oh, yeah, sure. Makes sense.
Ryan's shout out to The Mighty Linguini. You can follow them at twitch.tv/TheMightyLinguini. Between The Mighty Linguini and Mrtoolshed, you have 3/4 of our podcast team. Just missing Brasky.
Growth Spiral? That's not fair.
Another Growth Spiral. How do you like them apples?
That was a nice double explore turn for you.
It was pretty sweet. All right. So if Sean has Dovin's veto,
right? Is that how that works?
if Sean has Dovin's veto, we don't want to play this Wilderness Reclamation. So I think I'm just gonna pass and then play Nightpack Ambusher on his end step, and then hold open 2 vetoes, and then just kind of get that. Like, we can put the Wilderness Reclamation into play once he solves the wolf problem. I really don't want to be for him to be able to counter our Wilderness Reclamation, slam something like Dream Trawler or like maybe multiple Planeswalkers or something like that. Depends if you think he sideboarded well. Do you think he's supposed to board out the vetoes? Yes. I think the vetoes are good. I think like some number of vetoes are good. Oh, wait. Veto is the only good one. My bad. I was like, I think vetoes are good. Brandon is in my chat. He plays the Temur deck, and he's like mentioning that Sean might want to board out vetoes. All right, so I think I have to dispute this. Ooh, actually, there's like a sweet line here. Let's think the line through.
Nice Nightpack Ambusher, buddy.
If I play Nightpack and he doesn't counter, I can veto or dispute. I think it's this first. Whoa. Auto tapper. Auto tapper. Go home. You're drunk. There we go. You got it. It's my Nightpack Ambusher. But that's not all.
Alright.
Alright, so this should work out pretty well. Sean either has to commit the rest of his mana to like resolve this Teferi, or he has to counter back, in which case, like in both cases, we'll dispute again. And then we should be able to resolve this Uro, and then if we want to, or this Wilderness Reclamation if we want to. It really depends on exactly what we want to do. I could just like probably just like leave this and just like cast nothing and just go at it. I think I'm just gonna cast nothing and just go at it. Because like if I drew a land, there was a chance that I just cast Uro plus Wilderness Reclamation this turn, and then or like Uro plus Uro. But I think because we didn't, I'm just gonna let the wolves go at it. Like he has to answer this. 4 mana is usually the cost for answering this fully, and then obviously it could be 5 mana if he wants to actually answer the Nightpack Ambusher. Looks like he has Aether Gust here. I'll put the wolf on top. I'll take that action. Are you playing in a tournament you're testing for? I'm not playing in the tournament, but I have multiple teammates that are playing in DreamHack. So it's in this is more for them than me, but it's definitely important. You're not familiar with that? It's a tournament that's going to be taking place a couple of places, but mostly in this one's particularly in Anaheim, California. It's a 100K tournament, so it's basically like a GP. All right, we have a couple of decisions here. I could hold open mana to play the Ambusher again. I could play Wilderness Reclamation, or I could play Uro. I think I'm just gonna hold open mana and play the Nightpack Ambusher again. Do I just like want to play Ambusher now? I think so. Sounds great. Good luck to your team. Well, thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. Our team is awesome. Once again, the reason I want to play Nightpack Ambusher now is while I expect he most likely boards out Absorb, I don't want for that to be a possibility. And then also, once again, this does make Sean commit mana on his turn. And then I can stick these Wilderness Reclamations. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot to do with the Wilderness Reclamations at this point. But like having that as like a threat at all times is pretty sweet. And the deck is set up that if we draw, one of a bunch of cards, the Reclamation kind of goes off. So, all right. So Teferi can deal with... ooh, alright. This is pretty good for Sean here. Being able to Banishing Light as well. I think this means that because Teferi turns off the Wilderness Reclamation, we don't want to end up doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and play this here, just making sure that this tapping is fine. I think this tapping is fine. If we find Fry or something like that, I can play the Reclamations at some point, but let's see. There's no regrowths or anything like that in our deck, so go ahead and just submit. Any 5 is fine. Just debating if I want to shock in this. I could like shock this in, play Wilderness Reclamation, or I could play Growth Spiral. I think playing Growth Spiral is like more advantageous, and I think I still do want to pay the 2 life though, because if I can find Fry, that's pretty good for me, right? So I want to do it now. All right. Brazen Borrower is kind of neat. The question is do I want to bounce Banishing Light? If I bounce Banishing Light, he has to play it again. Or I could save it for playing Wilderness Reclamation next turn and bouncing Teferi. I'm definitely going to attack the Teferi, that's for certain. He could have Wraths in. Bouncing this and then having a Wrath sounds like pretty awful, right? Because then he just like Wraths. The thing is he didn't Wrath last turn, which is kind of telling that he doesn't have one now. I think I like doing this, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not very certain. I should have bounced it beforehand. I messed up. I should have bounced your thing beforehand so Teferi's on 2, but that's alright. I messed that up.
Oh, right, yeah, for sure.
I didn't think through my whole turn before I did it, which I should have just done, but that's alright.
Right. Yeah. I plus my Teferi last turn just in case you had Legion War Boss.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I think keeping Teferi on board is very, very big.
Teferi, right? I'm pretty sure I plussed it. I hope I plus my Teferi. Oh, this turn is gonna be a lot worse than what I want. Oh no! Oh no! I forgot if I let you go to attackers. Shoot! Oh, that was stupid.
Are you gonna cast a Wrath?
I have Shadow the Sky. Yeah.
Okay, I can just not attack with Uro.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I have Shadow the Sky. I forgot that you can attack with Uro and then trigger it. That was so stupid. All right, yeah. This.
So
you draw a card, but whatever.
Yeah, so we're just fixing a problem that obviously wouldn't have happened if things would have been different. All right, so we're pretty far behind it now. Obviously, like once again, I could have done things a little differently. I could have borrowed the Teferi or petty thefted the Teferi instead of the O-ring. I felt like because he didn't cast Shatter the Sky on my wolf, that he didn't have one. But apparently, I was incorrect in my assumption. But we get cast the Uro the next turn, and oof. I think we're just casting the Uro. If he has a counter magic spell, it's a little rough, but that's just the way it is. I doubt that he has a counter spell for this. Could be like Mystical Dispute. We can pay for Mystical Dispute. Drawing lands is actually pretty sweet. Let's count how many mana we have. So his Teferi is going to go to 7, or no, it probably is going to go to 2 next turn to bounce our Uro if he doesn't have a answer for this. But if it goes to 6, we could technically play it already. So I'm just going to put the land on the bottom. And I think I'm going to play Wilderness Reclamation here. Once again, he could have Veto again. Makes our expansion explosion a little worse, but... Maybe that's like a reason not to play it if he like vetoes it and then answers our Uro. I don't think this is like really the game plan anyway. We have a lot of mana anyway, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I think it's alright to do this now. It's not going to get a lot better. It also means that if he vetoes this, it's less likely that he vetoes the expansion or the explosion on the Teferi. The other reason that putting the land on the bottom is like we could find something like a Rabble Master. We could, if we could find something, or not a Rabble Master, a War Boss, or we could also find like a Wolf. Both of those would be pretty great. All right, Dispute is fine. And like I said, it's one less Dispute for our expansion explosion. Next turn, that's probably going to target at this Teferi. Oh, that's interesting. Bouncing the Omen most likely means that he doesn't have a great hand. He's like looking for more spells here. Here I'm going to target this at the Teferi. It is a little awkward because this means that the Teferi is going to come back. But I think we kind of have to do this. I don't think we can wait till after this goes away to do this. Because like there's already a bunch of Teferis in the yard. I just need to make my hand better. So let's see. How much can I do plus play around Dispute? I guess I could just tap mana and figure that out, right? Isn't targeting him better? Is it? You would target him? Alright. Well, if Brandon would target him, I guess we will do that. So for 4. Ooh, Aether Gust. Do I want this on top? I don't think so. I don't think I want to cast this next turn, right? Maybe I do. Just like make him have a counterspell all the time. I can't counter it because I'm what's it called? So all right, take action. So if he doesn't have another counter magic spell next turn, we're just gonna cast this again and we're gonna pay all of it. We're gonna target him. Narset. I guess I have to target Narset. Narset was the biggest punish.
Does the draw cards and the damage happen at the exact same time? Or if you kill my Narset, do you still draw the cards? Do you know?
I believe it all happens at the resolution, right?
Okay.
I'm not 100%
because there's a
certain,
period. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is there's a period there that says deals X damage to any target, period. Target player draws X cards.
I mean, with the Mystical Dispute, I don't know if it's going to matter, but it would be something nice to know.
Yeah. Tom Locke says you don't draw cards. Okay, so that's good to know. You mean you can't beat the tax from my Elspeth Conquers Death plus the Mystical Dispute?
No, I cannot.
You can cast this one explosion for like 1. So it's +2 from Elspeth Conquers Death, 3 from Mystical Dispute. So you can cast it from 1 and maybe have it resolve.
Yeah, I just like not going to do that.
Probably.
Yiki Bomb says, I thought damage happens first. No, it's all part of one spell. So things resolve in the order that the card is written in. However, the things don't happen until the card completely resolves. So in this case, the damage technically happens first, and then you draw the cards. But the Narset isn't dead until the explosion has already resolved. Once the explosion has resolved, it would be like you have to draw cards, but Narset's still the Narset's ability is still in play essentially. So yeah.
Very carefully, Perry. Very carefully. That's how.
If it was like separate lines, if it was like, you know, no, it'd still be the other way around. Yeah. I'm not really sure how we're supposed to win this now. I think we have to just like wait for a creature. No, the damage happens before drawing the cards, but the damage doesn't kill planeswalkers. State yeah. So basically, Ryan explains it better than I did. He says, no, the damage happens before drawing the cards, but damage doesn't happen, damage doesn't kill planeswalkers. State-based actions kills planeswalkers. Yeah, so like that's like kind of like the thing that always happens in Magic is like if you lightning bolt a Tarmogoyf, for instance, that is a 2/3, but there are no instants in the graveyard. Tarmogoyf is a XX +1. And so like if there's no lightning bolt in the graveyard, then the X +1 gets bigger. So you would do the 3 damage, the lightning bolt will go to the graveyard, and then Tarmogoyf will go, well, I took 3 damage, how big am I now? And now the lightning bolt adds a +1 to it because it counts the number of types that are in the graveyard for its toughness, and then it's like, oh, there's 4 types in there now, there's 3 types in there now, so then now I'm a 4 toughness creature, so the 3 damage didn't actually kill me. Man, Opt is really bad right now. This is the most embarrassing explosion ever. This is great. This is the best expansion explosion I've ever cast.
It looks pretty nice from my point of view.
5 mana, deal 1 damage, draw no cards.
5 mana lava dart.
Peak magic right here. Ironblood says peak magic here.
This is the way Richard Garfield intended, I'm pretty sure.
Now you just need a way to kill me. I suppose the way to kill me is just Castle Ardenvale a bunch of times.
I'm the beatdown deck now.
It only took 27 turns, but yes, now you are the beatdown. Or boredom. Yeah, I don't know. It's sad because like there's like a chance we could come back, but not really, right? There's just like if this doesn't resolve, we'll probably just concede. Like, to be fair, also he has an Elspeth Conqueror's Death. All right, I think I'm just gonna concede this one so we don't time you out.
Yeah, I think you can safely concede this game. I can concede it. I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh no. I mean, I'll concede because then we get to game 3, right?
Oh, then you get to play now too.
Yeah. Also, you were gonna win anyway, but yeah, it should be
We're
whoever.
like pretty even, right?
Yeah, whoever didn't have the check mark should concede.
Yeah, okay. We're even right now, right? We're like both 3-3 or something like that, probably.
Yeah, but also you essentially got game 1 most of the time, probably.
Yeah.
Right, so I have to win a lot more post-board games. Like basically, I'd have to beat you 3 times every time you beat me 2 for this matchup to be even.
Right.
Steve to the Izzo, what up? For those that are just tuning in once again, we are the voice you're hearing is Sean Gallagher, one of my teammates on Segoy. He is Mrtoolshed. You can see that up here in the corner. We are testing post-board games of Blue-White versus Temur Reclamation. Also, the reason there's no music is I'm going to post this to YouTube later on as well. All right. So this hand is interesting. I think I'm supposed to keep this hand, and I, in fact, am going to keep this hand. I think Brazen Borrower is like one of our better threats, to be honest. I'm not 100% certain about cutting one of them, but it is the way of things as it is. I'm going to go ahead and scry here. Bottom. Mrtoolshed. Mrtoolshed's tears are music to my ears. It's like, that's like a rhyme. I'm going to go ahead and opt here. If I find a scry land, I'm going to want to play it over this island. As it is here, I'm going to run the level bluff here. Nah, I don't need to run the level buff, right? Because like there's nothing that he can cast right now. If we were on the draw, I'd run the level bluff, where it's like you shock in Breeding Pool to like bluff Mystical Dispute, and then you play but you actually have the Mystical Dispute. It's like one of my favorite things to do. It's just like try to like get in the mind a little bit, but I don't know if it's that necessary. Let's see. Steve DeDiazo says, "Hey guys, I always enjoy testing sessions back when I play other games and had an actual team. Testing sessions are pretty great." Here I'm just gonna pass. Like Sean could have Mystical Dispute. I have to like respect that as well, so I'm just gonna pass here. I can cast the Borrower next turn. Actually, with this many Borrowers, if he does have Mystical Dispute, I'm just gonna play the Borrower. Magical, is it Fitu? Thank you very much for the follow, Fitutu.
My 0-4 can't block that, dude. That's not fair.
Yeah, the 3-1 flyer is nice. Gain 2 life, busted. I know, it almost nullified our Brazen Borrower attack. Archon of Sun's Grace. Alright, let's go ahead and fetch. Let's go get a red mana. I wonder if I'm supposed to let this resolve? Alright, there's a couple of options here. I could let this resolve and then cast Brazen Borrower and bounce it and make Sean commit more mana next turn. Or I could just counter it right now. I think I like countering it right now. And then I get to like stick the Reclamation. There's definitely a argument to playing the Petty Theft though, so that he just like is constantly stuck in this like loop of like trying to commit that spell to the board. But I think this is just better. Have you played any Magic spin-off games like Mana Strike? I haven't yet. I do want to play the what's it called, the game though? I do want to play the new, I can't remember what the new game's called. This is the downside of obviously casting the counter spells, that he does get to get this, but I think that's all right. I'm also going to get his 0-4 here.
Looks like I have clock advantage there, friendo.
Oh no. I have the board advantage.
I have the high ground.
Yeah, my worry about on that Mystical Dispute turn, my worry was that if I just Petty Theft, the next turn I'm not guaranteed to be able to play Petty Theft and the what's it called, and the Dispute. So the Dispute could get countered by like a Dispute of his if he drew a land. Just trying to think here. I could Petty Theft this, but I think I'm just going to cast the Borrower. Just all Borrowers all the time.
That is a lot of Brazen Borrowers.
It's in fact all of them.
I think I think I might be okay, but we'll find it. It's gonna be close.
You get Archon back next turn.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what makes it close here. I know it's top card of my deck. We'll see.
I think I'm just supposed to expansion him for 3 here. But I'm not certain about that. I like it. This way, if I find an answer to the Sun's Grace, I can win the game. Alright, getting a little tougher. Forgot about Omen in the Sea, but I think that's alright. I don't think we could really do anything about that. Did I skip Petty Theft because of possible veto? Because I think you had lethal if 3 Borrowers and... No, the problem was that there was a... the Saga... Or what's it called? Chapter 2 of Elspeth Conquers Death made my Petty Theft cost 4, and I didn't have 7 mana.
This is getting scary. I got really greedy on my Omen of the Sea, I think, unfortunately. I got punished pretty hardcore.
I think I have to take the action and just try to draw 3 cards. I mean, I think you're kind of in the advantage, right? Like I can nullify your 6 life gain, but I can't get through. But I do win with, like, you know, any sort of shock, I guess. What about attacking if he blocks the Archon, or if he blocks kill the Archon? I know it's super risky, but kind of behind. If I can find an answer to the Sun's Grace, I think I can still win, right? But maybe that line is better. He's got to have another enchantment here. Maybe he has another Omen of the Sea. Drawing Opt is better than drawing just the card underneath it, right? Yeah. Because I get the Scry. And if he blocked... If he didn't block, you have lethal. I mean, if he doesn't block, I have lethal, but... I think this gives me a little bit better, right? Because we're like... I have 2 attacks of him attacking me, but I have like 1 attack of the other, so... This has to be enter play, right? Constellation is whenever it enters the battlefield. Yeah. Thirst for Meaning. I think I have to let that resolve, unfortunately. I could counter it, but if he has like an enchantment, then I'm like really stuck. Although this does let him draw an enchantment. I think I have to save this negate for hopefully drawing like something like expansion. Discarded Field of Ruin, shatter this guy. Alright, just gotta hope, I guess. Is there a reason to do it? No. Rude. So we gave him an opportunity to like use Castle or Ardenvale. We could get around the veto, or we couldn't get around the veto, but we could get around anything else. All right, shields are fully and completely down. I'm sad he didn't play badly and make the token. All right, well, unfortunately, we have to attack the Narset and attack him. I guess we could stay back. That keeps us alive. But I don't know that we can really do anything else. Am I supposed to attack with the Borrower? I know I have to attack this there. I can gain 6 life. That's true. I forgot you can play the Earl out of the graveyard. This is fine tapping, right? I have to put this into play tapped. Man, I hate that it like taps it, like puts it sideways, and I'm like I don't know what I'm clicking anymore. All right. Mystical Dispute. I suppose I just jam that at Teferi, right? So that it taps his mana when he plays Teferi this turn. That way, if I play Mystical Dispute on the Teferi, then the I should probably... Well, I can't draw a card before attacks because the Narset doesn't allow me to draw cards after my first card for the turn. So the question was, should I draw a card first before more info? If I played the Earl first, I wouldn't have drawn a card due to the Narset. So this does it, or playing the Mystical Dispute not only gets more cards for my yard for Uro, but also doesn't allow him to minus on the Banishing Light and get another token. Alright, so we go to 2. He goes up to 10. So it's like a little unfortunate for us, obviously. Ooh, Fry.
I wonder if I'm supposed to
really
bounce
good.
that Banishing Light. That's what I was like trying to figure out. Is I'm supposed to bounce the Banishing Light and then like then exile your Uro because then I'm up Pegasus. But then you have 3... Oh, boy. Then you have 3 Brazen Borrowers.
Yeah, that's the reason I had to play the Dispute, I think.
Yeah. That's what I was, like, worried about. And now I think I might lose the game if you can get recast at Uro. Yeah, that's a bummer. I wonder if I threw the game.
Well, I mean, you couldn't... Oh, you could have shocked it in, right?
Yeah, well, I have a basic in my hand. I could have played the basic island. I've been fine. Okay, so I gotta upkeep. Oh, I wanted to upkeep. Shoot. Oh well. Okay.
Yeah. My draws like the Fry was like insane there. I don't know. It's like interesting the sideboarding here.
Yeah, I just drew 2 lands off my Thirst for Meaning, so I'm dead.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was lame.
Yeah. It was like a pretty good set though.
Yeah.
I'm like just trying to figure out exactly like, I mean like obviously I think maybe like you should have played the Brazen or the Banishing Light to bounce the or you should have Teferi to bounce the Banishing Light to get the Uro after attacks maybe, but then you're facing down 9, and at 10 that's a little rough still, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't get to like recast the Uro.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was like thinking. I was like, I wonder the Banishing Light play was maybe better, but so my attack to put you to 6. I think I'm dead, but play it out.
Yeah, you get to chump the what's it called? You get to chump the Earl, right?
Yeah, with the land.
Do I know Mr. Toolshed? They sound super familiar. That is Sean Gallagher.
I forgot about that. He has no graveyard right now.
All right. Let's see. Are you muting yourself somehow when talking
there's a lot of
about
back
your
and forth
hand
there.
contents?
I think the game was winnable from my side. I think the big decision was not bouncing the Banishing Light.
Yeah, I think it was like razor thin margins. All right, so that was our 3 post-board games with Sean on blue-white. There's definitely a lot of interesting decisions with the Temur deck post and pre-board. So once again, looking at it pre-board, the problem is obviously very much like Teferi, Narset, essentially present this lock, and then also Elspeth Conquers Death regrowing the or rebuying the Teferis plus the Narsets. So even if you do get them off of the board, like them coming back. Also, Elspeth Conquers Death is a very good answer to your Wilderness Reclamation. So like game 1, I think you're a little bit unfavored. You have cards like Storm's Wrath in your deck, which don't really necessarily help the matchup. So game 1, I'd be looking to cast Brazen Borrowers and hope to like kind of tempo them out that way and find your spots for Rec. But I don't necessarily think it's like very. I would put the ball in like the blue-white court like pretty heavily, and then post board you do have to like win most of the games. But I think we have a pretty good setup of this post board, and just like the creature plan, basically turning off their Dovin's vetoes, turning off their not their Dovin's vetoes, but their absorbs and stuff like that. Being able to like play underneath those is very, very big. So like their counter magic gets less effective. And the creatures are very good at like killing the planeswalkers, which make it a very big, change in the matchup and how the matchup's played, which is like really, really, really cool because they still have to respect your Wilderness Reclamation plus Expansion Explosion combo finish, but they also have to respect your creatures, which makes it really tough on them. I think that you saw that Sean use Arcana Sun's Grace, and I think that's probably one of the best ways to combat our creature plan. And one that I hope if you're a blue-white player, I would expect you to play more too. Not necessarily more than Sean, but like more to post-board, meaning like board in a way that it works out that way. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope this helped you out. And if you are interested in the Temur Reclamation versus blue-white matchup, I hope you learned something from this as well. So, all right, everybody on YouTube, thank you for watching once again. I'm Conan Hawk, Eric Hawkins, and the person I'm playing against is Mrtoolshed, Sean Gallagher. We're both part of Team Segoy. And yeah, definitely check us out. You can find us on Twitter at Mrtoolshed, at Twitter at Conan Hawk, and then also on our podcast, Fam, Friends, and Magic, which we record weekly. So thank you very much for watching.